right, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining me. Of course, guys, we'll definitely be uh, going live, linking up with the broadcast center in Abuja, where the presidential task force is addressing the media. So, guys, we'll just link up with them. Thank you very much for joining me. My name is Tui, and afterwards we'll come back to have a conversation. Yeah. guys. I'm still here, and of course, it's still we're still listening. But right now, I just have to stop that particular message coming all the way from the venue of the presidential task force briefing in Abuja. Of course, he's speaking in Hausa, and it's just unfortunate I can't really translate what he's saying there. So I just thought it would be nice for us to just break away from that briefing, and of course, let you know also that yeah, we're going to have. I want us to really have an interesting conversation today about the things that are on your mind, the things that are really of concern to you. Because all this while it's all about me talking, and I me just a talk from this end, and I want me we change that particular style so that we interact a little about some things that are of concern to you. Because ordinarily, if we look all around us, there are a lot of things where they go on, and we some of us really they worried about, especially if it gets to do with this COVID-19, because initially the world decide to shut down, and they tell us say now the only way out be that to take deal with the virus. Shut down, it go stop the spread of the virus and everything. I wish every one of us really do until now where we come to see differently now. Say okay, even with the shutdown and everything will happen all over the world, e although it slowed the spread of the virus, but then we don't see how wetin dey go on and say okay, people not fit really continue with the lockdown, and then won't go back to business. So for me e come dey make me dey wonder say okay, since if we know before say the lockdown no go fit really stop the spread of the virus, why we really shut down everywhere? Why we cause problem? Okay. Sorry guys. Okay, very good. I'll come back to attend to you. Sorry, that's my son. So yeah, if we really know say the lockdown no go really slow down the spread of the virus, and that will come back to come open up everything with little or no precaution, why we shut down in the first place? Why we really shut down in the first place? Because a lot of businesses they suffer now, not just for Nigeria, all over the world, and we see world leaders coming up to say no, they must open up the space regardless of the number, because as we dey talk for Nigeria, the number of the infection they increase, not be say the infection don reduce, but all wetin we still dey see in everything be say even as the infection dey increase, we still get this whole problem of say they still dey open up all the space. Okay, guys, sorry, you just have to take another break. I think the picture quality is very poor. I have to see what is wrong. Stay with me.
back home and infect their families. But as we speak, they have been kicked out of the hotel as we speak. And this is coming at a time where we are yet to meet our target of testing 2 million people in 3 months. I want to know why these people have not been paid. And there were also some people who also met me, and they have the same agitation. I think they are the port health workers. They also have the same agitation. So I want you to react to this. And the second question is still to you, Minister of Health. I was listening to a radio program last week, not year, sorry. And the guest that was brought on one of the program, which is I think he's the chairman of the medical subcommittee on COVID-19 in the FCT. And he made a claim that for every COVID-19 patient in the isolation center in the FCT, the federal government is spending 1.7 million naira to treat that COVID-19 patient, whoever has spent 14 days in isolation. So I want to know how true this is. And finally, to Mr. Chairman, well, last week, the PTF marked 3 months since its inception by President Muhammadu Buhari. Of course, we know that these 3 months, yes, increased testing, but we cannot shy away from saying that these 3 months, we've also had so many cases that have arisen from COVID-19. A lot of Nigerians also flouting some of the guidelines as stipulated by health experts, interstate movement, same thing. I want to know, in the 3 months that is coming, I want to know what strategy that you'll be coming up with that will change some of these narratives. Thank you.
The Chairman, National Coordinator, Honorable Ministers, DG, and members of the task force, my colleagues. My name is Amaka Ode. I report for Arise News. My first question actually goes to the Minister of Health. Well, so some medical experts are claiming that our fatality that we're seeing these days is actually related to the home care, which you have told us that as it stands right now, we have about 80% of our confirmed cases being treated at home. They're saying that those people who are isolating at home are not checked, and also they're not getting the kind of medication they need. So I need to hear from you. Walk us through the process involved in home isolation. How many times are these people being checked, and what sort of treatment are they being given, and by who? And the next question actually is for the DG of the NCDC. Well, sir, from last week, we've seen some states come out to claim that they've been able to discharge all their confirmed cases from the isolation centers, and they have no more cases. So I want to get from the NCDC, how many states in Nigeria are COVID-19 free, aside from Cross River that your record is still showing? And the next question is for the Honorable Minister of Humanitarian Affairs. Well, NPAR beneficiaries, they have reached out to me a couple of times. They said they haven't been paid their money for the past 3 months, and they want to know why and when they will be paid. And finally, to the chairman as well as the national coordinator, any one of you can take this up. Well, Nigerians want to know, with all the funds that you have in your coffers, how much are you dedicating to homegrown solutions to COVID-19? Thank you.
Good evening, Chairman and members of the Presidential Task Force, my colleagues and Nigerians at home. My name is Mitaire Ikwen. I report for the Nigerian Television Authority. My first question is for the DG of the NCDC. Some Nigerians want to know how you can relate the result for the Gene Expert machine, initially configured to test for tuberculosis, which is a bacterial infection, to conclude for the presence of coronavirus, which is a viral infection. And for the Minister of Health, the PTF keeps advising anyone with COVID-19 symptoms like coughing, sneezing, and headache, as the case may be, to present themselves for testing. Now, with the peculiarities of the wet season, a plethora of these symptoms, people come up with a lot of these symptoms. Now, if everyone with such symptoms presents themselves for testing, do we have the capacity to test and isolate them all? And for the chairman of the PTF, a lot of audiovisual materials have been circulating on social media, alluding to conspiracy theories and also encouraging skepticism about the pandemic. In fact, over the weekend, one of them that was trending, even up till now, is that of a Ghanaian that was reading a script that was talking about the timeline of the pandemic. And there's the tendency to believe such scripts because of what has played out so far and what is likely to play out. And I'm asking, what is the reaction of the PTF to such materials, considering the fact that they could impact negatively on risk communication and believability of the pandemic? Thank you.
Good evening, all. Rachel Abuja from the News Agency of Nigeria, and my first question is to the coordinator. Sir, most states and the FG have eased down lockdown, and we're experiencing a spike, obviously, in the country. Aside of the possibility of another lockdown, what are the other options open that the government will be looking at? Meanwhile, we've all said a lot
streaming from Shanes TV's platform. So, and of course, yeah, you're welcome back now. Still tweet we here, doing this live from my living room. That is why, of course, you can hear the voice of my son. I don't know if it's really that clear to you watching on YouTube. And anyway, don't mind my look. I've not really had a clean shave for some days now. I'm going to try to control this as much as possible. I can't really tell them not to talk. If I try to do that, definitely. Okay, so yeah, that is it pretty much. So much to learn from that particular brief. The briefing is still on. I would have loved to link up to NTA, but well, the image from NTA is very poor, and I must say I'm very, very disappointed. NTA can't even stream to YouTube at high definition. Whoa, that is very, very bad. Very, very bad. Okay, but stay with me now. Let's just take a quick break, and I'll come back. We get so much to do together. I'm still here. Thank you very much.
For nearly 30 years, there was no alternative to oil and gas. No quarrel with oil and gas. It's just that we behaved like lottery winners who could think of nothing else. Spending $22 billion a year importing food. Rice, wheat, sugar, milk, tomato paste, cookies and biscuits, even toothpicks. Everything in shiploads. It looked very nice, very easy. The feasibilities for those are not that difficult to make. A shipload from Thailand arrives, you clear, you sell, and you pay off the overdraft, and you have 50 million in your pocket, and you can either be ready to buy 5 more jeeps or maybe contest election. But food, agriculture was relegated to that segment of society that has neither voice nor capacity to be seen, the peasants. They've been feeding us and subsidizing our feeding. Now they're getting old. The average age is about 64.5. And our population is increasing. We'll probably be 450 or 500 million by 2050. 5% of humanity, because the world population then is estimated at 9 billion. Now let me ask you, who is going to feed that population? 500 million Nigerians? And how many boats are available to take us to the Mediterranean? Assuming that going there is the solution. We have serious challenges, and it's not just because we want to make statements that we're talking about agriculture. We have to feed or perish.
All right, former Minister for Agriculture, Adu Obe, speaking there. Yeah, we either ready to survive or we're ready to perish. Yeah, I just decided to play that tape because I applied powder. I don't know. Yeah, my face just looks somehow. So, but then, guys, yeah, time for us to really have the conversation now. We have just about the next some minutes to do this, and the reason for this is because yeah, we've passed the 30 minutes mark, and the reason for this is because I stumbled, of course, into get to see that the presidential task force briefing was still on, and there was really need for us to listen to them and get to know what is going on as yeah, about COVID-19 in the country. So much already we've learned from that broadcast, but then again, yeah, I guess we've overstayed already. So I'm just going to bring this to a close because even my children self will protest. Now 30 minutes with this program, but no, I don't feel keep them away anymore. So Let's talk tomorrow about some things. It's going to be a very interesting session because I like for it to be as interactive as possible for us to talk about some things that are concern. But for me, one thing that is really of concern to me is that we're opening up everywhere. We're advising people to wear masks and everything. How come we didn't think of this at the beginning before we shut people down? We shut down the entire economy. We caused people loss. So many jobs lost already. You know, people are still struggling to bounce back and everything. And now we are saying, oh, don't worry. Just wear your mask, maintain a certain distance, and you can go about your business. Why we not do this before? That's my main concern. And of course, it's still a thing of concern to me because I know so many people, we don't lose money, we don't lose so much, and it's not really getting any better. But all the same, we can just hope that things will get better and the government will do the right thing by ensuring that we don't just always play a second fiddle position by always listening to what other countries have to say. But sometimes we start working towards improving healthcare in Nigeria. And I can tell you that that is still a very big problem because there's this story I saw about the governor of Osun State during a condolence visit to a member of the political party in the state that died. And he said that if not for COVID-19, the person wouldn't have died because they would have done everything to take that person abroad for treatment. So one thing means that while we are thinking that COVID-19 it's going to help our government to realign and politicians to think more about building good and quality healthcare in every state in the country, every local government, we are seeing signs that, well, as soon as the world opens up and they are ready to travel again, they might just travel away and abandon us to continue to face the problem alone. Whatever it is, this and many more on my mind, but then guys, we have to really cut it short. I hope we can have this conversation some other time. Thank you very much for staying. I'm not going off. I'll just link back with Shines TV on their YouTube page there. It's just something. Instead of linking back, why don't you just go there since I won't be coming back to do any talking, right? Okay, can just follow for the rest of the presidential stacks. Just follow Shines TV on their YouTube page. From me, Twitter, you know. I say thank you very much for your time. Tomorrow, we'll come back 5 p.m. Yeah, bye. I think my children's voice are so loud that I don't know if it's really that loud at your end, but yeah. Thank you very much, guys. I have to go now. Bye.